tonight's webinar. Tonight's subject is going to be how to provide value to your customer. We've got an amazing two panelists today. It's good to see that they've made the effort to make an appearance. We've had a lot of people on holiday, a lot of people working, all that sort of thing, so they haven't been able to make it onto the webinar tonight. But the good news is you've got three fantastic people, well, two, don't include me, that are going to provide you with some incredible value, and they're going to give you some little tips, little hints on how to provide your customer value. So Scott, he hasn't been on the webinar before, but he's new to the new generation team. So tell us a bit about yourself, Scott, and let's have some answers from you.
Yeah, sure. Well, first off, thanks for inviting me, Jay. It's great to come on and speak to a different type of audience. So really appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I'm obviously Scott Taylor-McCormick. I am a digital marketer, entrepreneur and consultant, basically. I do a range of things, and looking forward to sort of talking on this topic of value, because it's something that I've learned certainly quite a lot in the last sort of year. And I guess we'll save the little goodies until we get into it. But yeah, appreciate coming on, Jay.
Wicked. And Kelly, tell us a bit about you. What's going on with you today? How are you doing?
Yeah, all good. I'm just over on the east coast of Australia at the moment. Bit of a different scene for me. It's been a while since I've been here. It's cool. Yeah, so everything's going well. I've just got 2 weeks off work, off my day job. So yeah, been sticking into some online marketing and all that kind of stuff, which is amazing. And yeah, doing some training, all that kind of stuff, which is very exciting. I'm running my first marathon on Sunday, so woohoo!
Wow,
Can't
cool.
wait.
How have you managed to fit that in with all that traveling you've been doing? You tell everyone where you've been. You've been all over the show.
Yeah, the last couple of months have been pretty crazy. Been over to the UK and Singapore and Thailand just a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm over here, so
Wow.
pretty exciting.
Oh, wait.
Wow, you're I don't know what you are, all over the place.
Hey, also had my my first kung fu competition.
I've seen that
Sunday.
on Facebook. Yeah. Wow. So when did you start
Pretty
that?
Exciting. End of last year.
Jesus Christ! Welcome to this, Scott.
I know. And which country are you doing your marathon in?
It's on the Gold Coast, so Australia.
That'd be nice.
Okay. That'd be wicked. I don't think I'd be able to run a marathon. I've run a half marathon and I could hardly walk for a week. It's ridiculous.
Oh, don't tell me that.
I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll
be fine.
That's wicked. So today's topic, I want to keep it quite open as we discuss between the three of us, because there's only a few of us today, and it's obviously value. And Scott was saying he's been giving a lot of value. He's learned a lot about giving value over the last 12 months or so, and it's definitely something that I've been working on, and me and Chris, and I'm sure Kelly has as well. So one of the questions that I'm going to propose to you both is, what is value to you, and why do you think it's so important now than it was in the past? Because there's a lot of talk at the minute about buying cycles becoming longer and longer. People want more value and they want more information and all this good stuff and all the goodies before they decide to actually buy your product. So Scott, just try and elaborate on that and tell us what you think.
Sure. Well, I mean, it depends what you consider value to be, because it's like this word that is thrown around a lot and in different contexts. But when we talk about being in business, value is quite interesting, because you only really think of it the way we're going to be talking about it when you actually get into business and really understand it. So value in its basic form, and literally I pulled up the definition just to give it some meaning, is the regard that something is held to deserve, which for me, that's how I always sort of consider it to be, which, when you think of it, if you are promoting something, selling something, whatever it is, and it doesn't really matter what it is, you and you were mentioning about the sales process being longer and longer and longer because people are expecting, I think, more and more value because they have so many more options to buy stuff. So if you can stand out by over-delivering on the value side of things, then by definition you almost deserve the result, and it does come back in some ways because it's this thing you put out value and somehow it comes back to you. You can't quite put a finger on when it's going to come back to you. But it's interesting when you start doing stuff. You put out, videos. You put out content. You help people for free. Offer advice. Offer things. It comes back to you in ways that maybe not directly and there and then, but in various ways it sort of comes back. So it's just, it's interesting.
You made a good point there actually about delivering over value. And
Yeah.
for anyone who's ever bought anything and had that buyer's guilt, so you buy something and then you think, oh shit, I've just spent 10 grand on a new car or whatever it was, and you feel guilty, oh, should I have bought it? But if that person had over delivered on value, then you would never ever have felt like that. If they'd have thrown in add-ons, there'd been alloy wheels, they'd have given you all that sort of stuff, you'd have never ever felt guilty about buying that car.
Yeah.
It's so true. And value is just, I never really knew much about the concept, and I never knew the insides of it until I got into this business. And people want something for nothing all the time, and you've just got to give and give and give. And something I've been learning recently is about consistency, which actually we'll move on to a bit later. So when we're giving tips on how to provide value, consistently providing value, we got there in the end, is one way to coach your audience and ensure that they are expecting that value all the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure does.
So what about you, Kelly? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so recently I've been also studying a coaching course, so it's a lot around human behavior and things like that. And what I find really interesting about this topic is that it's coming up a lot in my coaching course in relation to human behavior and how people make their buying decisions these days. So I don't know if you've ever read anything by a guy called Robert Cialdini. He has 7 laws of influence and how to influence people. Really, really interesting book if you get a chance to read it. And one of those laws is about giving value and the law of free. And so, the more you give, like Scott was saying before, the more you get back, basically. It's just how people work. The law of reciprocity, really. If you receive something, then you feel like you want to give them something in return, and it's just a basic law of human behavior, really. So in relation to marketing, I think the more we're able to give our customers that they perceive as value, and I think that's really important, is that our customers have to perceive it as value. So it's not just what we think is valuable, but whatever they're going to think is really cool for them.
Yeah.
So things, like whether it's blogging or videos, however our customers, want to consume the information. I think, that's really important.
Absolutely. And just to add to that, because it's quite interesting. I wrote down that book for myself because I quite like that sort of stuff. I think we're all familiar with the phrase perceived value as well. So I think what you're able to do basically is if you can outweigh the actual value with a perceived value that is greater to that in however way that you do it. Jay, you came up with the example of the car. If you can, the value of the car is 10,000. If you have a perceived value of 15, 20,000, then it far outweighs the actual value, and you don't have that guilt and stuff. And I guess it just clarifies that point.
Yeah, I think I don't want to go into a marketing pitch about the SFM or anything like that, but that's something I think the SFM do really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I talk about the value you get when you're on sort of webinars with Guy and Elon. You know, these are multi-millionaire marketers at the cutting edge of marketing, and they are providing you some of the best knowledge you're ever gonna get.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, they're something else, those guys, and there's no shame in it, or they're not afraid to share that with you. And
No.
you talked about reciprocation, Kelly. Is that what it's called? Something like that.
Yeah.
You need a dictionary tonight.
But yeah, possibly. I need that today. That's what it is. Yeah, and that's what I keep.
Right. Yeah.
They just give, and they say that you give and you keep giving, and in the end, it comes back 5 times over.
Oh yeah.
And and some of the stuff those guys give away are ridiculous, and you can see why people are buying their products, because they just give everything away for free. and the cutting edge stuff they save, and then you invest into that because they've already give you so much already. You think, oh my god, they've given me so much, I almost have to buy off them, because their stuff is amazing. What they provided quality content, and now they're providing me with this tool. So if they're providing me with this tool, and I've looked at all their other stuff, which is amazing, it must be good. So I must buy it. It might be shit, but the chances are, if you're providing good quality and you provide a good product, then it's only going to come back.
Especially if you're providing good quality for free.
Yeah, definitely.
That really says a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think that's where things like video tutorials are so important. I've had people, I put everything I learn, basically I do a video about, whether it's on a challenge or it's a tutorial. So if I learn something, the chances are there's probably going to be 10,000 other people who want to know how to do that as well. So if you make a video about it, put it on YouTube, you're probably going to bang a link in there to your landing page or your squeeze page, or some sort of promotional link to your offer, and people will click on that because they're curious. So that's just one way of getting people to come and look at your website, come and look at your offer, wherever it might be. So providing them relevant content, then you can actually just bang a link in there. They'll come and check out who you are, what you're doing. You provide them with good content, good tutorials. They will then go, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. What's this new product he's got? And all of a sudden they're looking at what you've got to offer.
Yeah. And I think especially these days, having a visual, so with video it's amazing. It's so important because everything's going online and everyone wants to see something. So having that video, I think, that's what I perceive as value. Maybe it's not everybody, but I know I'm definitely a visual person.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people are different in all aspects, aren't they? I mean, some people like listening to podcasts, some people like watching video, some people like reading blogs, and I think now you have to cater for all more than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, they do say that your customer is right for you. It's got to be right for you, and it doesn't matter whether your customer watches video or likes to read. You've got to accommodate them, because they might be your perfect customer, but it's like when you're giving a presentation. If you ever give a presentation, it has to be structured a certain way to cater for everyone's needs. Like they used to say when I was in the military, it needs to be blue background, yellow text. So cater for people with learning difficulties, I think it was.
That's interesting, yeah. And it's right. I mean, I'm a video / podcast person, but some people are into reading even. So they'll find a blog post more interesting and more valuable, should we say, than a video, because it's how it holds your attention span, basically.
I think a lot of it comes down to generation as well. I think if you look at the new generation now, and you look at things like Facebook,
sure.
How many videos do you see in a newsfeed now? How many photos do you see? Everything is visual in the sort of new generation. That's not to say the older generation don't like it or can't benefit from it, but in my experience, from what I've seen, is the older generation prefer to read things, like to read books, because that's what they used to do before TV: read books and learn things like that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, actually.
I,
I think,
I, I
yeah,
actually
you're right.
I actually said to Amy about it. I said, well, so she was talking about broadcasts and sending out broadcasts to a list, and she wasn't sure whether to put images, videos, books, whatever. So I said, well, what are you targeting? If you're targeting people who like to read books and you're bringing all those sort of people onto your list, then the chances are they're going to like to read long emails about whatever you've got to offer or the content you're offering them. Whereas if you've brought in younger generation who, if you've done your research and that's come from a video source or someone who does a lot of videos, say Tony Robbins, for instance, he likes to do a lot of presentations. So people who watch Tony Robbins are going to watch videos on YouTube. The chances are, anyway. So if you're broadcasting to your list and you're sending out emails, it's a good idea to send videos out if you've been targeting Tony Robbins, for instance. Just my thought.
I think that's perfect, Jay. I mean, yeah, you need to be thinking about your audience that you are marketing to. As a marketer, you have to know your audience. And if you are somebody that is a video person, then yeah, maybe getting people that are into books, although the books are very good ways of marketing, or finding very specific people. Yeah, you know, you can sort of bypass them and maybe find people that are into more the visual stuff, because there's plenty of videos and stuff out there. Tony Robbins, as you just said.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's videos and books for most of these people, but like I said, you cater for everyone, and that's one of the things you need to be thinking about, is just thinking outside that box. It's all right saying, oh yeah, I'm going after this keyword, this interest. Oh, they're in my list. Oh, well, I'll just send them the same old shit that I've been sending everyone else. It's fine.
Yeah,
in reality, you need to be thinking outside the box and thinking, well, what do they like to do? Do they like to watch video? Maybe even send them a survey to say, would you prefer more video content? You know, because it's a good idea. Guy and Elon always say, survey your list, because it's one way to get them to engage with you. You might be able to get into a discussion, get on Facebook, whatever it might be, but do a survey. Easy way.
I think that's not only valuable for us, but it is valuable for them, because it shows that you care, sort of thing, and you're able to get a lot of feedback, and I think they appreciate it in turn. That's the experience I've had from surveys in the past.
And also that perceived value, like, you know, if you're going for value for your list, then knowing what they want, that's the ultimate, really.
Pretty basic, eh?
Very simple, but I bet you it's overlooked by so many people.
Absolutely. I bet.
Yeah. It really is.
You do, because you get too focused on other things and things that other people are doing, and things that you think you should be doing, you get sucked into. So yeah, just get back to basics sometimes.
You get focused on Facebook in your account and
yeah. Back to basics, eh? Really.
The roller coaster of being an online marketer. Jesus Christ. So, actually, just a little tool, just throw this out there while we were talking about surveys. There's a good little tool which you can use, is called Web Engage. I don't know whether you've heard of it, Scott and Amy.
Sure, yeah.
Anyone who's watching, Web Engage basically allows you to put a little icon or a little pop-up on your website, and it allows you to basically survey your audience, so you can see exactly who's coming to your website, and you can put 3 or 4 little questions on there, and people might answer and people might not, but as long as you're getting some information out of them, then it can only be beneficial to you in providing future content, because you could even ask them, what content do you like to read, do you like to watch videos? Very simple stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah, that's just a little tip that I picked up. So, Scott, I mean, what are you doing as far as value is concerned? What's your main strategy that you're using in order to provide your customer with value?
The customer, or in general?
I mean, you can go in general if you like. I mean,
Yeah.
You're trying to target a specific person, obviously, your perfect
Yeah.
person. How are you providing them with value? How are you providing value or sort of content that's going to bring them in as a customer?
So for me, value has been this habit that I formed of giving value. So I actually do it, I guess, across the board, not just focusing on the marketing as such. Although, you know, if there was a good place to start, that would be it. And I mean, it starts off with, I guess, time is a brilliant sort of thing. If people appreciate, especially on the internet and stuff, actually speaking to a real person rather than watching a video or you know, reading something, they actually appreciate getting on and answering questions in terms of the SFM and stuff. That's fairly basic. I guess we all do that. I'm sure. I know you do it, certainly, Jay. So that is one trail of things. I'm shooting videos all the time, sharing thoughts and stuff, things that I've learned. One of the things that I learned early on was to learn and teach. That whole concept. You know, if you learn something, teach it, because your perspective might help somebody else. And as you said before as well, Jay, I mean, if somebody's struggling on that, there's probably 10,000 other people that are also struggling on it and can take value from that.
Like the classic example of the question when you get a big room of people and they say, "Has anybody got any questions?" And inside you're like, "Oh shit, I want to know that. Someone please ask it. Someone please ask it." And it's the same with you know, tutorials. If you learn something, just put it out there, because the chances are someone else is going to be thinking exactly the same as you.
Yeah, yeah. It's so true. I mean, we've all sat there, and then sometimes you think, well, I'll ask it, sort of thing, because nobody else is doing. But the amount of times I've walked out the room and you're thinking, should have asked that question, and nobody else has asked it. Why not, sort of thing. And there must be so many other people thinking that as well. It's a shame when you think of it like that.
I did it at the gold event. Actually, I was thinking to myself,
What?
not this time, but the time
questions
before.
all the time. Oh, right.
Shut me up.
Yeah, yeah.
The first gold event I went to, I was so scared of asking a question, but then I just thought, you know, I started to break into a sweat at the thought of asking a question. I was like, just ask it. And so I did, and as it turned out, the question I asked actually made Shree get up and do his 90-day video challenge.
Did it? Right.
In front of everyone. So it was me who asked that question, and then he did that and started the group, and then I finished mine, and Stuart sent me a video camera. And
you see all my respect went to Shree for that, but really it should...
I know, I want to hear mentions in future webinars.
Yeah, the man in the background, eh? You want full credit on the bottom of each of his videos. But
and part of his earnings, that'll work as well.
Yeah, I want a percentage of what you earn. But yes, so getting back to the point of what it is that we do for value. Another thing that I do as well is, and how I've always looked at it is, if somebody needs help, if you help them in a basic sense, you know, that they've got a question, if you help them and you have something that can benefit them more so, that is suited to them. So for the SFM, if somebody wants to create a business, you know, earn some extra income or whatever their reason is, you can sort of show them through whatever their questions are. Maybe they're struggling about how exactly it works, and you know, there's a multitude of questions that you could have. So you answer those directly, and then you go, well, would you like me to help you some more? You know, if so, boom, you know, because that help that you gave them is probably more perceived value than an application, for example, and that has worked well for me in the past, and it's very basic. We've got the party goer.
I know, he looks like a dodgy Puerto Rican or something.
Show us your watches.
Can you hear us, Andrew?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
How are you?
Hey, Andrew.
Better late
everyone.
than never.
Exactly, yeah. I know you're still waiting for a few other people as well. But yeah, I've managed to find a little bar locally to the hotel I'm staying at, and got free Wi-Fi, yeah, so that's handy.
Wicked.
It seems to be glitching a bit though. It seems to be glitching
Yeah, it's
so
fine.
far, so we'll see how we
We
get
can
on
hear
anyway.
you loud and
Okay,
clear.
Yeah.
perfect,
So
okay, cool.
today we're just talking about value, Andrew, and
Okay,
providing your customer with value.
sure. Yeah,
So
definitely,
we'll
obviously
let
very,
you
very
we'll
important.
let you relax before we move on to Kelly.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds
Hey,
good, sounds
Andrew,
good.
do you want to, while you're not speaking, do you want to mute your screen because there's lots of people in the background?
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
There
Perfect.
we go.
Woohoo! Nice. Yeah, so for me, I've been doing quite a bit of blogging lately, and same as you, Scott, you know, when you learn something new, to write about it or shoot a video about it, and to share that with people that are interested. And I think that helps me as well. It really just cements what I've learned. So
It does, yeah.
it's beneficial. It's beneficial for everyone, really, in my mind. So yeah, videos are cool. It's a lot easier or quicker for me to shoot a quick video than to sit down and write. I'm not the best writer, but
And we're the
yeah, it's
same,
like
Kelly. We're exactly the same. Me and Chris, we're not the best writers. You know, he used to be in the army, so he's one of them.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, me being an Air Force lad, you know, intelligent and all that. No, videos are so powerful, and I always say that you can get your message across so much better in video because people see
yeah.
your face, they see the way you speak, the way you hold yourself, all that good stuff. And I think, what's the stat? Is it about 85% of people who are marketing on the internet don't actually do any video whatsoever?
Yeah, it's
Is that
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy, but it's a really, really powerful tool.
And I
Yeah.
think also with video, because you get like we were saying before about different people's learning styles. So some people are visual, some people are auditory, some people like to read. I think with video you get both, so you can listen and you can watch as well. So I think that kills two birds, really.
So let me just ask you something, Kelly. Are you creating video as a blog and then putting the text underneath, or are you doing half and half, or are you just doing video solely?
Depends on the time I have during the day. Sometimes I do half and half. Sometimes I'll post a video just by itself. But yeah, I think a bit of both is perfect, to have even just a little bit of text explaining what it's about, for those people that do want to read something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something we're going to try because we love doing video, me and Chris, and we're going to film the video, do the videos, and then we're actually going to outsource the text to someone else to write that out for us. So we've got a video, we've got us coming across, and then we outsource it to someone else to write another blogger, so to speak. So you've got two blogs.
Yeah.
And so you simply put a video out there. Underneath, you put something like, would you like to read this article instead? They can then click on that, and then they can start reading.
Yeah, perfect.
So it
I
covers
think that's
both
cool.
bases.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dad's just come through the door. He's just been on holiday to Germany on a stock do. So
He's after your tea.
I know, yeah. Andrew, coming from lovely Portugal.
Yes, yeah. I've just
You going out there?
I've just ordered some food. Have a little look at this.
Well, he's gonna.
Lovely.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to
See how
eat. Gonna have to eat this in a minute, but yeah, I mean, value. When you first said, you know, what we're doing the webinar on tonight, the first thing I thought is videos, and that stat, I've not heard of that stat that you just come up with there, Jay. Not heard of that, about that. A lot of people are not doing videos, so it just shows that if you are doing it yourself, you are actually providing a lot more value than a lot of other people are, which is great to know. But yeah, obviously I've done, and like most of us have done, the 90-day video challenge. This has really helped me kind of build confidence and you know, produce quite a large quantity and quality of videos now as well. So definitely advise
Sure.
videos, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think, like Kelly said before, when you actually shoot the video, and I found this as well, it sort of cements the whole point that you're trying to make in your own mind, because you sort of know it, and then once you do it, you share it, it actually really helps you understand even more so.
Good point, good point. Yeah, it's kind of like the same as, like, you might watch a video yourself and learn something, but it's only when you write it down or you say it yourself, it cements it a lot more in your own mind. You believe it a lot more as well, just by kind of saying it and teaching it. It's kind of going from the stage of being a student and learning something yourself to then becoming a teacher and like kind of teaching it to other people so they can learn it. So yeah, it's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I used to remember back in school, when I wanted to really learn something, I would have to write it down again and again and again to get it into my head. And that really worked, and I guess it's the same concept.
Definitely.
So anything else that you're doing, Andrew, because I know you're about to eat, to sort of add value to the people that you're marketing to?
Yeah, so one thing I've just started doing a lot more is broadcasting. I don't know if you've touched on broadcasting yet, but broadcasting is obviously when you're sending emails out to your followers, people that are following you. And I don't know if you've touched on this yet, but broadcasting has changed a lot recently. You used to get away with being very generic, and you know, you could use the same emails for weeks upon months, even years. People were using the same emails, just sending them out to everyone, and it's become really valued. The best thing to do now is use video, but use pictures and, you know, various different things you can do. But most importantly, kind of be fresh and in the moment. So send an email today talking about something you've done today or this week, as opposed to, you know, something you've done last year, or, you know, just a generic email. So yeah, broadcasting is something I've been doing, or started a lot more recently. And that's, I honestly believe broadcasting brings a lot of value to the people that are following me as well. So yeah, broadcasting is something I've started doing recently.
So how are you coming up with content for your broadcast? Just out of curiosity, Andrew.
Basically from two sources, I'd say. My personal experiences is probably be the first one. So if I've learned something, or, you know, if I'm going to shoot a video about just something random, I'll do it, you know, around a topic there. But also if I've read a really good blog or watched someone else's video that I really like, I will kind of, maybe imitate that, or come up with something slightly different. Obviously not copy them completely, but use their concept that they've kind of made me think about something, and then put it in my own words, and send a broadcast about that, really.
Yeah, it's a good point actually about using other people's material. I mean, there's no harm in actually taking someone else's blog and actually talking about it. You know, you could talk about the subjects they talked about, just reference it back to them. You know, there's no harm in actually doing that. So find a good article, maybe something that's trending on Facebook or Google, whatever it might be, Twitter. Find that article, create a video about it, talk about that blog, talk about the stats in there, and then just refer it back to them. Say, I found this on this site, and let's just talk about it today. And so by doing that, you're giving good content, good value to your potential customer, and you're still crediting the originator of the content.
Yep. Because I think
we're so lucky. I'm sorry.
Sorry, go on, Kelly.
I was just going to say we're so lucky with the stuff that we're learning with SFM. You know, we've got content made for us. You know, we're learning so much, and having all that in our, you know, in the back office to, as you know, all the archive training. You can go and watch something, and then you've got, you know, how much do you have to write about, or blog about, or video about?
Yeah, because this is the thing. People instantly think that they have nothing to give. Like, well, I'm new. What value possibly could I bring to the table? And the truth is, as you say, we've got all this content and stuff that we can just repurpose and credit back to other people. I quite like sharing something that I came across. I mean, the other day I was sharing a speech that really inspired me, and I was like, if this really inspires you, sort of thing, and you're not promoting yourself, but you're still giving value, and you're not really coming up with content. You're just recognizing that might be useful to somebody else. On your own travels, sort of thing. So
people will still recognize you for being a good source for good content, which is what you're after. So in the same instance I was talking about before, where I was saying if you're providing good content, you're a good source for it all the time. If you're recommending a product, because your customers receive so much good content from you already, they're going to presume that the product you're providing them is just as good as the value you've been providing in your content.
Yep, because people always remember, if you were to introduce two people, they always remember the person that introduced them.
Yeah, definitely. I think
it's interesting. Yeah.
People overlook value and they underestimate it. I mean, what is value really? I mean, it's anything that helps anyone. If you Google how to, anything that follows how to is value. So how to open up an email, how to open a door, I don't know, but that is value to anyone. It doesn't matter what your market you're in, whether you're in your fitness niche and you're telling them about how to cook a bloody curry, or maybe not curry, how to make a salad, or you're in paint and decorating, you're telling them about what the best bloody, not toothbrush, it's a toothbrush then, what the best, the paintbrush.
You're coming up with some great examples here, Jay.
Oh,
we know exactly what you mean.
I think also if if you've heard something before from somebody else, it doesn't mean everybody else has heard it. So your list may not have come across this concept before. So if you're putting that out there, then you're sharing that information with them. They may not have ever heard of that before.
Yeah. Because we all know terms such as affiliate marketing and stuff. We're so accustomed to it, and we understand the whole concept. But if I went up to somebody on the street and just picked somebody randomly, I bet they wouldn't have a clue what I was going on about. So you could just share what is affiliate marketing, how to become an affiliate marketer, whatever, and that is valuable.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, my brother said to me when I joined this opportunity, if it's that good, why doesn't everybody know about it? And I was like, well, if you'd have asked me bloody 4 months ago what an affiliate product or an affiliate marketing was, I wouldn't have a bloody clue. I wouldn't know what a lead is, I know that for sure.
Sure,
It's crazy what you know that you can provide, which you just take for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on a call today with one of my friends who wants a bit of a consultation. He owns a fitness business, and he doesn't talk about making curries. He talks about nice salads, tomatoes,
protein.
I spent an hour on Skype with him, and I talked about email marketing strategies. I told him exactly how to target on Facebook, provided he's got an active Facebook account, that is.
Sure.
And he could not believe it. He was just like, oh my God. Right. And I says, if I'm honest with you, what I've just told you in an hour probably would have taken you 6 months to learn, and it would probably cost you about $2,500. And he was like, that is amazing. And I just said to him at the start, I said, who do you want to target? And he says, people with bingo wings, 35 to 55. Good job Amy is on it. People who are interested in fitness, people who live within 10 miles of me, people who've connected to someone else's page, blah, blah, blah. And I just went, bam, 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 that's how you do it. Put an advert that looks like this and test it. And he was like, Jesus Christ. He went, you're so fast. I was like, I wasn't fast in the beginning. I knew none of this. This is but 3 months ago. I started and I spent every day learning. And now I know a bit about it.
Yep. That's awesome, and that is. I mean, you said it might even be more depending on how much the results generate for him in terms of how much value you just gave him, because he could go on and use those ads and generate a lot of business potentially, and you know, £2,500 might not be the thing, but you're not invoicing him, you're not doing anything, you didn't ask for that, but it will come back in some other way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, by the end of it, he was like, "Oh, how much would it cost me for you to, teach me how to do this?" And I was like, "Oh, there's no point. You might as well just, learn it through the SFM if you're going to do it." I says,
Yeah.
"There's
Do
no
it
point
properly.
spending hours with you, because really, you're better off just learning it slow time in your own time. Because I'm not bloody getting on the phone with you every 2 minutes to teach you."
Yeah.
As much as I want to help people, I don't want to be there to hold their hand. They've got to learn for themselves and make their own mistakes.
Sure. Yeah. True.
But yeah, value is a very interesting one. Where the hell's
It is.
Andrew, by the way?
I think he's eating away.
Eating
So
dinner.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I am here. I am here, yeah, just eating. I didn't think you'd want to see me eating either. But yeah, you touched on some very good points about giving value and sharing other people's content is still as valuable as kind of coming up with something completely yourself. I don't think it really matters too much. Another point I think you were just about to touch on was about what is value, what does it actually mean, and I think especially in this industry online, the word is thrown around quite a lot. Value,
Yep.
everyone tells you to give value, but no one really tells you what it is.
Yeah.
And you're right. Everything is valuable. Anything that someone else doesn't know, is valuable in many different ways. Valuable in a monetary way. It could be worth money, like you were just talking about in that example. And it could go on to help somebody grow their business, earn a lot of money. But yeah, very interesting. It's something that's thrown around quite a lot. Give value, give value, give value, and no one really explains what it is. So yeah, there you go.
It's true. Yeah. It is coined around a lot, but I think people outside maybe aren't as familiar with it that we think. But one of the things that I hear a lot is your income is directly proportional to the amount of value you give out. So when I think about value, I think of it in terms of how much I'm actually earning. So to give it some sort of substance is, well, if I want to be earning more, then I need to be putting more and more value out there and doing more and more stuff. I don't know how everybody else sort of coins it, but
That's an interesting concept. I like it.
Yeah.
If you can put a tag on what your value is, then you will. It's almost like a goal, isn't it? If you said I'm worth 200,000, you're going to do your best to push $200,000 worth of value out there. So you're just going to keep pushing yourself until you feel like you provided probably that and more. Good way.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's.
I think it's also oh, sorry, go for it.
No, go on, Kelly.
I think also some people are, especially if they feel like they've got an original idea, are afraid to put that out there and to actually give maybe value on that topic because they're afraid that other people might steal it or take that away from them. And I think that's almost the wrong attitude to have, because as much like we're saying, if you put as much as you can out there, then you're going to receive that in return. Might not be straight away, but eventually.
There's an interesting stat. I think it's if you share everything you know, so you keep sharing and sharing and sharing, 80% of the people will never do anything with that value you've provided them.
It's true. Yeah.
I did cut you off before, Scott, so sorry.
Did you undo me? You missed my tagline. Where was I? Which part did you hear up to?
We're being cut off.
I am. Is that you, Kelly, doing that?
It is.
No, I'm not touching a thing.
Right, I know you don't like me, Kelly, right? We'll talk about this at the next event.
Did you miss it when I shared the secret before?
But as far as my stats, I'm like Stato tonight, aren't I? So the 80% will not do anything with that value. 10%, I think it is, won't do it as well as you. So the only percentage you have to be concerned about is the last 10%, and then you just push yourself every single day to be the best and be in that last 1% or 3%, whatever it is these days. I hear so much bartered about the most successful people who are in the, what is it, top 3, Scott, or top 1%?
I think it changes, but I always go for top 1% because it sounds better.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's
When
true.
I'm there, then I can be like, yes.
But that little stat just goes to show that if you share and keep sharing and keep sharing, most people won't do anything with it at all.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
said.
I'd never particularly worry about the people that it is helping. Well, not in that way. I know it by putting it out there. I am helping people, and if it is useful to some people, great. If it's not, that some people watch it and don't do anything, then that's their problem. As you were saying before, you can't hold the hand and do it for them. You've done your side of the bargain, basically. You can continue to offer value, but yeah, if somebody's not going to do anything with it, then
We used to be guilty of it. We used to find some out and go, oh my God, keep this to ourselves, and be like, oh, don't tell anyone because we want to do better than him because we were super competitive, me and Chris. When really, when we just shared it, everyone would be like, oh my God, you guys are amazing. How the hell did you do that? And all of a sudden, they seen you as more of a leader, more of an authority figure because you knew more than me. And they say knowledge is power. Well, in this instance, it probably is because it builds you up as an authority figure. If you're a reliable source for information, they're just going to be like, bloody hell, he knows his stuff. I'll go to him next time I want to know something.
Yeah.
And you're building up that authority in your arena, so to speak.
And I think the value for you has come back in ways of connections, in ways of results. You're now on the leaderboards. There's a lot of stuff going on that's pretty valuable for you guys.
Oh, I mean, I never thought at the start of this, 3 months in, I'd be on the bloody leaderboard. I'd be making the money, just double my wages.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Although Facebook,
I've got the CEO of Six Figure Mentor, Stuart Ross, sending me bloody video cameras, parcels in the post, and what a month, what a feeling, and people telling me I'm a leader, people telling me I'm inspirational. Jesus Christ, I don't think I ever got praise in the military.
Yeah, would you say that is directly down to the amount of value you put out there?
From the feedback I've been getting, I'd say so, yeah. By pushing myself to give people value and do a video every day that's going to contain some information that's useful to people, it's come back, tenfold for me. And
I would say so too, yeah.
And not only has it come back in a form financially or recognition, just myself as a person, by giving so much, I've changed so much and built and developed and just come so far. It's incredible.
Yep. It's awesome.
So
it's really good.
So Elon wanted to talk for an hour and a half on that webinar on Thursday. What we get to 50 minutes.
Doing well.
4 of us.
Andrew, you still there? Rolling, Andrew.
Yeah. Sorry, just had to unmute myself. Yeah, I'm still here. Just
Any
just finishing up eating. I've got long to go, and I'll be back with you. But yes, good points that you raised there again. I think it is. I still think it's crazy how much you've progressed, Jay, and how you're getting video cameras and stuff sent in the post. It is a bit mad. I've never heard of anything like that before in the Six Figure Mentors history. But, just one of the points I wanted to raise is that we talked about what is value, and we've obviously talked about Six Figure Mentors as well. Six Figure Mentors is valuable. It is value, and that is essentially what we're doing online, is providing them with value that's kind of that we've come up with, and then providing them with value that Stuart Ross and Jay Kubizak that have come up with, which are multi-millionaires. You know, they've been doing this online for a number of years now. They've built up a lot of experience, and they know how to provide the best value. And you know, they provide valuable products that range up to like $20,000 that many people are buying because of how valuable it is.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right, Scott, what you said about your income relates to your value. Same as products, you know, like any company will have a range of products, such as Apple. You know, they've got lower end products and then they've got higher end products. There's a difference in the price because they provide different amount of value. You know, it might have more memory, it might have better spec, so therefore it's worth more because it's more valuable to the end consumer that's going to be using it. So it's the same with any company, and yeah, I totally agree. Value is related to your income in some way, not necessarily just money, but what you get back, like what you were touching on, Scott, especially if you are a believer of the law of attraction or karma or whatever. You know, giving out value it can never be a bad thing, really. If you're helping people out, it's going to come back to you in a number of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just coming up to 25 past now, so I just want to finish with one bit of advice or one tip that you'd give anyone who is looking to provide value. Andrew, do you want to go first? On the spot. Did you hear me?
Is that again, Jay?
So we're just after one bit of advice or one tip that you would give anyone who was looking to provide value to their customer. What bit of advice would you give, or strategy, if that's the case?
Okay, so I would think about quality. There has to be a mix. It has to be sort of 50-50. You don't want to be providing the best possible value by doing it once a year, because it won't really help many people. And you don't want to be providing tiny little bits of value to as many people as possible, but not really helping anyone, because you're only kind of just telling them one thing but not explaining it to them, or you know, something like that. So it has to be very fun. On a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, you know, it's something that stays consistent, and you know, you find it valuable. So quality's there as well. So yeah, that'd be my one tip.
Cool. I think Jay's been muted again.
Kelly, sorry.
Wasn't me. What I would say, my number one tip, I guess, is to just be really generous with everything that you have. Is to just give as much as you can, and give your time, your knowledge. Yeah, just put that generosity out there, and don't be afraid that people are going to rip off your work or steal your ideas. I think, you know, if you've got that attitude of generosity, then, you know, that's amazing.
Definitely. Finally, Scott. Not finally, because I want my say. All right.
You want your tea, don't you?
Yeah.
I would say I mean, you put value out for a reason, and you don't want to forget the reason. So to apply a rule of thumb of the 80-20 rule, and I like to, you know, 80% value, 20%, you know, what is it that I'm going to get from this sort of thing? And if you start to apply that, you're actually giving out significantly more value than you are actually asking for stuff, such as, you know, offers, promotions, whatever it is. It will obviously depend on what you're after. But yeah, just as a rule of thumb, to think about it like that, because people say, how much value do I have to give? Am I allowed to actually ask for something in return? Yes, but if you work it out in some sort of a way, 80% value, 20% inward taking, then I've always thought that was a good way of thinking about it. It must help me.
Yeah, definitely some good points there. I think the one bit of advice I give is consistency. I was listening to a Satori Prime podcast the other day by Satori Prime, obviously, and they were interviewing this John Lee Dumas. He's Entrepreneur on Fire. Basically, he was in a mastermind, and he was talking about how all these big shots were telling him they shouldn't send out his broadcast or his iTunes broadcast 7 days a week. And he was like, well, no one else is doing it, so I'm going to do it 7 days a week. And they were like, you're crazy, you'll get tired out, never be able to do it. And so what he did is in 22 months, after 22 months, he was a 7-figure earner, because he went with his gut every single day, 365 days a year. He created a content-filled podcast talking about all sorts of marketing issues, things that have changed, all these sort of things in his life, and he was consistent with it every single day. And so his audience expected that, because they were saying no one will ever listen to him every single day. But because he did it, he coached his audience. And it's exactly the same with broadcasts. Stuart Ross told us that the guys at the top are getting the best results when they're broadcasting every single day. People are like, oh, no way, no one's going to want an email every day. They'll spam up their inbox. Yes, at first your unsubscribe rate's going to go up, but you are going to coach your audience. You're going to coach your customer to expect that, and eventually they'll get used to it. It'll just become part of every day. So consistent action, consistently providing good content. And I think Andrew alluded to it, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, keep that consistency throughout your business and take that action to make sure it happens for your customers, so to speak.
Yeah, very good point.
Wicked. That's my final thought. Okay, we'll just go around and see how people can get hold of everyone on the panel. Andrew, do you see that pretty face and that beautiful vest showing off your muscles? Do you want to tell us how people can get hold of you in Portugal?
Yeah, definitely. So my website's andrew-mills.com. You can obviously catch me there, and .com /Andrew and
that's andrew.mills.com. Andrew-mills.com.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
What we got there. And Kelly?
Yeah, so mine's fairly similar, not Andrew Mills, obviously, but mine's www.kelly-petering.com. And yeah, on Facebook, The Elegant Entrepreneur.
Wow. Elegant.
Shut up.
Scott.
Yeah, well, mine's a bit different because it's much shorter and much easier to remember than these hyphens and stuff. I'm kidding. It's ScottTaylor-McCormick.com, all one word. It's at my little bar at the bottom if you can't spell it, but yeah, Google me, you'll find me. You can get in touch, we can schedule a call, and I'll be happy to speak to anybody.
Wicked. And if anyone wants to get hold of me and Chris, we're available at www.chrisandj.com. Jump on there, read about us, schedule a call if you want to talk, or if you don't really like what we're doing, you know where to go. That's my take on everything, by the way, so if you're offended by that, I don't care.
Yep.
Right, okay, well, we'll wrap it up there. And thanks, everyone, for coming on tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate it, Jake, and everybody for inviting me on, yeah.
We were going to do this in 2 parts, but I think we've covered everything we need to as far as value and content goes. So we'll wrap it up there, and I hope to see you all next week.
Take care.
Cool. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.